was on the left, just here, the 190th Street. When I was a child, there was a huge mansion that was here, and that mansion was used as the Isabella home. And that was torn down again sometime in the 1970s. I seem to remember around 1975, 76, it being torn down, which is a shame because it was a beautiful building, and I hate to see those beautiful old buildings go. But anyway, here's the intersection of 187th Street that we're coming up on, and I'm going to make a right turn, and that will mean that we're headed west on 187th Street. One of the reasons why I'm doing this video is to just drive through a New York City neighborhood, especially a Manhattan neighborhood, that at least infrastructure, architecturally speaking, it really hasn't changed too much in the past 50 years. And I remember this neighborhood. I'm 57 now. I remember this neighborhood from when I moved here with my parents 52 years ago, when I was 5 years old. And I've always loved this neighborhood, and it's had its problems, but fortunately, I think it's a very vibrant neighborhood again, so it's nice. This church on the left here is the St. Elizabeth Roman Catholic Church. A nice looking church. I wouldn't call it particularly beautiful, but it has it's a product of its time. It was built, I believe, in the late 20s, and it's sort of a simple Gothic, plain Gothic design. It actually had a very, very nice organ when I was growing up, a Cassavant, for those people who know pipe organs, and it's a very reverberant building on the inside, so the organ sounds tremendous. I have no idea if it's still there. I have no idea if it works. You notice we're going down a big hill now, and we're approaching the intersection of Broadway. Now, if we were to turn right onto Broadway, that would take us right into another neighborhood called Inwood, and the street keeps going. It keeps descending down and down and down. Washington Heights is the highest point in Manhattan, and the actual highest natural point is in a park called Bennett Park, which is between Fort Washington Avenue and Pinehurst Avenue at about 183rd Street, 184th. What we're doing here is we're crossing now Bennett Avenue, and this is, as I said, this was sort of the more Jewish neighborhood back when I was growing up. A lot of the buildings here are very nice Art Deco buildings built in the 30s. So what we're going to do is, this is Overlook Terrace, and now we're going to take a right turn and start to go up. And this is going to end up at Fort Washington Avenue, which is, we're getting towards the west part of Washington Heights now. And this is Fort Washington Avenue here, and I'm going to turn right onto Fort Washington Avenue. This building on the right side, on the far corner, was Cabrini Hospital. I believe that it is now a condo. I believe it's residential apartments. But it was a small hospital when I was a kid. The building on the left, the sort of red brick sort of monolith here, is just an apartment house. All of these apartment houses were sort of really posh back in the day, and even today they're not bad. The school on the left here is Mother Cabrini High School. This building here coming up is a very nice example. Unfortunately, I see the windows have changed, but it had beautiful... Oh, and Cabrini Chapel on the left here too. These buildings had beautiful Art Deco, the steel casement windows. Now, here is where Fort Washington Avenue ends. And there's a traffic circle here. And we can actually go into, I'm going to stop here for the stop sign, and we can drive into Fort Tryon Park. Now, Fort Tryon Park is a very, very nice park, and it has very nice gardens, and it's a nice place to sort of take a walk, hang out. But it also has one of my favorite museums of all time. This park houses the Cloisters, and the Cloisters is basically a branch of the Metropolitan Museum of Art, and it's the major collection of their medieval art. So, and there are a few really astounding things in this collection. The famous unicorn tapestries, and we're just seeing part of the museum here. The museum is amazing in that it was built to look like a monastery from whatever, the 12th century, 14th century. And it actually contains, I believe, 3 cloisters from France that were brought over stone by stone, and also a Spanish chapel. 3 cloisters, I believe, in a chapel. And it was built. The buildings were assembled. I'm gonna turn around here just so you can get a look at the building. As you can see, it has this beautiful tower. It has sort of the Spanish tile roof. It's real, and cobblestone street. It's really an amazing museum. It has the famous unicorn tapestries, if I haven't already mentioned that, as well as the 9 heroes tapestries. It has an amazing collection of sculpture, stained glass. It has a reliquary, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, that has artifacts. This is the Hudson River right here, so you have a tremendous view of the Palisades of New Jersey and the Hudson River. Now we're sort of circling around the museum, and on the right you might be able to barely make out the George Washington Bridge in the distance. And what we're going to do now is we're going to take a left turn, and we're going to go right. And as you can see, this is something very, very unusual for Manhattan. There's parking, free parking. You can actually drive here, park for free, go to one of the most amazing museums, and then get in your car like right at the museum and head either back up to Westchester or over to Connecticut or to New Jersey or whatever. Now, this road here is actually the Henry Hudson Parkway, and this pretty much concludes my tour and sort of nostalgic trip of Washington Heights. I have to say, right now, technically here, this exit is for Dyckman Street, which is clearly Inwood. So right now we're in Inwood, the Inwood section of Manhattan. This section of Manhattan is the most northern neighborhood in Manhattan. And I think I'll just leave the camera rolling until we get over the Henry Hudson Bridge and into Riverdale, which is the Bronx. This is one of my favorite ways to get into and out of Manhattan, by the way, if I'm coming from the north, from either Westchester County or Connecticut. It's sort of easy peasy, you know, it's easy in, easy out. And I refer to it as Manhattan's back door because that's exactly what it is. But you get a pretty breathtaking view of the Palisades from this elevated portion of the roadway. And so when we go over this bridge, we'll be actually leaving the island of Manhattan and going into the Bronx. And what I'm going to try and do, I think, is I'm going to try and tilt the camera, if I can, to the right. There we go. And that way you get sort of a glimpse of the Hudson River of the Palisades in New Jersey. Those cliffs, they don't look like much from here, but believe me, they're hundreds of feet tall. And this neighborhood here is known as Riverdale. It's a very nice area of the Bronx. This is the Northwest Bronx. And again, this is a neighborhood that's familiar to me. But anyway, this is John the Limo Guy. I hope you enjoyed this sort of nostalgic, for me, trip through Washington Heights. If you're from Washington Heights or you have any comments, please feel free to make a comment. And if you like the video, do like it. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe. And I will endeavor to post videos driving around New York. I'm a limo driver and I'm here every day anyway. Okay, so this is John out.